Ideas do not bleed. They do not feel pain. They do not love.
Better? You're almost through.
Last night, I sought to end that silence.
More than 400 years ago, a great citizen wished to embed the 5th of November forever in our memory.
Our story begins, as these stories often do, with a young, up-and-coming politician. Perspectives. So if you've seen nothing,
If the crimes of this government remain unknown to you, then I would suggest that you allow the 5th of November to pass unmarked.
the only verdict is vengeance. A vendetta, held as a votive, not in vain. For the value and veracity of such shall one day vindicate the vigilant and the virtuous.
Reflexes. The subject said he could no longer remember who he was or where he was from. There is one case that continues to give me hope.
There are, of course, those who do not want us to speak.
We think, just let me...
Disease. There were a myriad of problems conspired to corrupt your reason and rob you of your common sense.
The ultimate tool of this government, and through it, our politician was ultimately appointed to the newly created position of High Chancellor.
Over the years, I've heard
What
you
if
talk
the
about
worst,
your adherence to a philosophy called positive
most
thinking.
horrifying
This is the
biological
mantra
attack
that
in this
if you
country's
believe
history
something, if you
was not
visualize
the work
it,
of religious
then it will
extremists?
happen. You think that
With
positive
a nice
thinking
holiday,
mindset is suitable
I thought we could
to
mark
handling
this November the 5th,
pandemic
a day
that
that's
we've
sadly
seen in
no
this
longer
country.
remembered, by taking some time out of our daily lives to sit down and have a little chat.
Forever. I remember our teacher telling us that it was an adolescent phase that people outgrew. I remember how the meaning of words began to change. And powerful. I remember how different became dangerous.
Sarah, I know why you did it. I know you were afraid. Who wouldn't be? War, terror, disease.
I know of no reason why the gunpowder treason should ever be forgot.
We need cameras. How did this happen? Who's to blame? Well, certainly there are those who are more responsible than others, and they will be held accountable. But again, in our memory, his hope was to remind the world that fairness, justice, and freedom are more than words. They are perspectives.
The Conservative Party. He's completely single-minded and has no regard for the political process.
Subtler. He promised you order, he promised you peace, and all he demanded in return was your silent, obedient consent.
Eventually, his party launches a special project in the name of national security.
We think, just let me
I
think.
suspect even now, orders are being shouted into telephones, and men with guns will soon be on their way.
It's time.
If you told me every television in London...
Cruelty and injustice, intolerance and oppression, and where...
But you cannot kiss an idea. Cannot touch it or hold it. But who was he really? What was he like? But what of the man?
But the end result, the true genius of the plan was the fear.
Your adherence to a philosophy
Fear
called
became the
positive
ultimate
thinking.
tool of this government, and through it,
Unmarked.
But
if you see what I see, if you feel as I feel, and if you would seek as I seek, then I ask you to stand beside me 1 year from tonight, outside the gates of Parliament, and tolerance and depression, and where once you had the freedom to object, to think and speak as you saw fit, you now have censors and systems of surveillance coercing your conformity and soliciting your submission. The gates of Parliament, and together we shall give them a 5th of November that shall never, ever be forgotten. The act of destroying it. Symbols are given power by people. Alone, a symbol is meaningless, but with enough people.
Bag every one of them.
People should not be afraid of their governments.
Governments should be afraid of their people.
And you're going to make that
to a philosophy called positive thinking.
Nuclear power is meaningless in a world where a virus can kill an entire population and leave its wealth intact.
Thinking mindset is suitable to handling
imagine a virus, the most terrifying virus you can, and then imagine that you and you alone have the cure.
We lost one If our own government was responsible for the deaths of almost 100,000 people.
Broadcasted. It was the highest rating in the history of Fox.
Do you really want to know?
Saturday night.
And the truth is, there is something terribly wrong with this country, isn't there?
You designed it.
Otherwise, what if that isn't what happened? What if someone else unleashed that virus? What if someone else killed all those people? Would you really want to know who it was?
Sure.
Even if it was someone working for this government?
We're told to remember the idea, not the man. Because a man can fail. He can be caught. He can be killed and forgotten. Remember the 5th of November, the gunpowder treason and plot. I've witnessed firsthand the power of ideas. I've seen people kill in the name of them, and die defending them.